NBA trade deadline, breaking down the biggest winners and losers. The ESPN discussion on the NBA trade deadline offers an intriguing mix of humor, in-depth analysis, and emotional reactions to some of the league's biggest moves. The panelists, including Chris Herring, Brad Botkin, Ashley Moss, Evan Turner, and others, delve into how these trades impact the landscape of the NBA, particularly focusing on the Lakers, Mavericks, Spurs, Cavaliers, Kings, and Bulls. Biggest winner: Rob Pelinka and the Los Angeles Lakers. Brad Botkin makes a compelling argument that Lakers GM Rob Pelinka is the biggest winner of the trade deadline, and for good reason. The Lakers pulled off a shocking deal, acquiring Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Anthony Davis and a first-round pick. How did this trade happen? Botkin paints a humorous yet astonishing picture of how Pelinka seemingly lucked into one of the most lopsided trades in NBA history. According to reports, Dallas Mavericks GM Nico Harrison called Pelinka, supposedly just for a casual coffee chat, and somehow that conversation led to Luka being traded to Los Angeles. Pelinka, who has faced criticism for some of his past moves, including letting go of key role players from the 2020 championship team, has suddenly found himself in the best position possible. With Doncic and LeBron James forming a new super duo, the Lakers are now set up for immediate and long-term success. What this means for the Lakers: LeBron's successor. With James nearing the end of his career, the Lakers now have a generational talent in Doncic who can take over as the franchise cornerstone. Championship contender: the pairing of Luka and LeBron, combined with solid role players like Austin Reeves and Mark Williams, who the Lakers also acquired, makes LA a title favorite. Rob Pelinka's redemption: from being heavily criticized for his roster-building decisions to now being praised as a genius, Pelinka is poised to win Executive of the Year. Botkin hilariously states that Lakers history has always involved a superstar just showing up to save the franchise. Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe, and LeBron. Now it's Doncic's turn, and Pelinka simply had to answer the phone to make it happen. Biggest loser: Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks. Ashley Moss does not hold back in naming Mavericks GM Nico Harrison as the biggest loser of the trade deadline. Why trade Luka Doncic? The sheer absurdity of the situation is emphasized. No one inquired about Luka. No team was actively trying to trade for him. Instead, Harrison made the first move, picking up the phone and offering Doncic to the Lakers in what could go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history. Moss compares this to one of the most infamous moves in sports: the Boston Red Sox selling Babe Ruth to the Yankees, which led to the curse of the Bambino. Just as that trade doomed the Red Sox for decades, she argues that this move will haunt Dallas for years to come. What does this mean for the Mavericks? Immediate fallout. Mavericks fans are outraged and season ticket holders have reportedly begun demanding refunds. No clear direction. While Dallas still has Kyrie Irving, losing Doncic creates a massive void with no clear plan for the future. Nico Harrison's reputation. The decision is so baffling that Moss jokes he might have to enter witness protection to avoid the backlash. If the Lakers' acquisition of Doncic was a stroke of luck, Dallas's decision to trade him was an unforced error that could set them back for years. Other trade deadline winners. Cleveland Cavaliers, Evan Turner's pick. Turner highlights the Cleveland Cavaliers as a trade deadline winner, primarily for their acquisition of DeAndre Hunter. Elite perimeter defense. Hunter adds much-needed size and defensive prowess to the Cavs' wing rotation. Perfect fit with Mitchell and Garland. Hunter's ability to score 15 to 17 points per game while guarding top opponents makes Cleveland's backcourt even more dangerous. Eastern Conference contenders. The Cavs, already leading the East, solidify themselves as a serious playoff threat. San Antonio Spurs, Ashley Moss's pick. The Spurs also made a major move, trading for De'Aaron Fox to pair with Victor Wembanyama. Perfect point guard for Wemby. Fox's pace and playmaking ability are expected to elevate Wembanyama's game. Long-term duo. Unlike Chris Paul, who was linked to the Spurs but is aging, Fox and Wemby can grow together for years. Spurs' smart roster building. The Spurs have a history of making strategic moves, and this trade continues that trend. Moss passionately argues that when a team gets a once-in-a-generation player like Wembanyama, They must do everything possible to build around him. San Antonio has done just that. Other trade deadline losers. Sacramento Kings Ashley Moss's pick. The Kings make the list of losers due to their baffling mismanagement of assets over the years. A history of mistakes. Sacramento could have drafted Luka Doncic in 2018 but took Marvin Bagley III instead. Losing star players. They once had De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, and Doncic within reach, but now have none of them. Setback for the franchise. While the Kings still have talent, their inability to keep star players raises concerns about their long-term viability. Chicago Bulls, Evan Turner's pick. The Bulls also make the list of losers for holding onto their core too long and failing to capitalize on trade opportunities. Wasted talent. Chicago once had Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Alex Caruso as key pieces but failed to make a deep playoff run. Lack of assets. By the time they decided to move on from their stars, their trade value had diminished. Missed opportunity. Turner believes they should have also moved Kobe White to a team like Dallas that needed a point guard. Turner and the panel reflect on how the Bulls had a brief window where they looked like they could be contenders, but poor roster decisions prevented them from sustaining success. Who's coming out of the East and West? To wrap up the segment, the panel gives their picks for which teams will reach the NBA Finals based on the trade deadline moves. Evan Turner picks the Celtics in the East and the Lakers in the West. Ashley Moss picks the Thunder in the West, citing their addition of Kawhi Leonard and the continued development of Chet Holmgren as game changers. The discussion highlights how the trade deadline has reshaped the playoff picture, making the Western Conference in particular highly competitive. Final thoughts. A franchise-altering trade deadline. The ESPN discussion was both insightful and entertaining, capturing the drama and chaos of the NBA trade deadline. Biggest winner. Rob Pelinka, who essentially got Luka Doncic for free. Biggest loser. Nico Harrison, who handed the Lakers a generational talent on a silver platter. Major takeaways. The Spurs made a brilliant move by pairing Wembanyama with Fox. The Cavaliers quietly became an even bigger Eastern Conference threat. The Kings and Bulls continued their tradition of mismanaging assets. Ultimately, this trade deadline may be remembered as the moment that reshaped the NBA's balance of power, ushering in a new era led by LeBron and Luka.